Hey there, peeps. Dan Berkey here. That narcissist who gives a fuck. Yeah. Priorities. How does one arrange their priorities? What I can lose sight of in an instant is that somebody, say a filmmaker, has priorities that are not mine. Well, how could they be mine? They're a completely different individual. And again, what I said, they're completely individual, other individual, is something I can forget very easily. My tendency is to think about just me. I'm the individual, and everybody else is kind of supposed to be subservient to me, which is bullshit. Just straight and simple bullshit, but that's how my psychology works. Simplistically putting it. Turning that around is no easy task, but it's not impossible. If I just stop and say, well, this person has other priorities, they can't meet my priorities. Say a filmmaker has to push a project back. My immediate response is, well, why the hell are you doing that? Come on, get your priorities straight. The film has to be the most important thing. That's how I think. But it's not. Take into account the other individual, the filmmaker. You know, life happens, and sometimes life happens unfairly. Life is commonly unfair. Big deal. Deal with it. You're not cowards, unless you want to be. You're not a pussy unless you want to be. People have things that happen to them, sicknesses, friends who die, family members who die or get sick, there's an accident, or there's a serious financial problem, whatever. As an actor, prospective actor in a project, I have little or no control over what pre-production does. And I should talk to them as if I do. So when something happens that pushes a project back, I'll have that primary response. But then I sit back and go, wait, just wait. What's really going on here? If you can think about that, if you can really sit yourself down and think about what's important in this big picture, what do you really have control over? Not what you have control over. You don't have control over everything. You have control over very few things. But within your purview, you do have control. And one of the things you have control over is how you react to something, negatively or positively. You can have a terrible thing happen to you. That's general. For me, as an actor, when a big project just fails, just is scrubbed or pushed so far back you can't see at the end of the tunnel anymore, my reaction is, how dare you do that to me? That's in effect. That's just taking one example within the context of filmmaking. They're not doing it to me. They have to push it back because something happened with them. And if I can stop and think, well, how do they possibly feel? Do you think they're happy about this? Do you think they're out to get me? No. They had a problem. Filmmaking is a series of solving problems, and some of them sometimes are fatal. There are a lot of near-fatal problems that a lot of really great filmmakers will handle. I could give you myriad examples of filmmakers that I've worked with who have solved potentially fatal problems on the spot. When a location scrubs out at the moment of shooting, you got to find a new location and find one in less than a half an hour. In Chicago, that happened to me 4 years ago. My hat's off to that guy. Mike Musicanto. Mike Musicanto is a brilliant musician and filmmaker doing the film called Abraded. Anyway, I'll never forget that. Jeff Moffat doing Call of Duty, a fan film based on that. He lost a location with 60 people in vehicles, crew, crafty, and in a matter of 45 minutes, he found A totally new site that worked out better than the one before. Remember that name, Jeff Moffat. Iron Horse Cinema. I mention these guys because they stand out as being brilliant, able to think on their feet and handle fatal problems, potentially fatal problems. A lot of filmmakers go, screw it, I'm going home, sorry. Not them. I want to use them as an inspiration for me. When things don't work out, well, sit back and push that reactivity away and think about, well, what's really going on here? That's about as specific as I can get because there are so many different variables. But don't just think about yourself, think about the other people. Priorities. What is your priority? Or maybe a filmmaker doesn't want to talk to you. I mean, maybe a filmmaker is very reclusive. And you find that out, don't press them. Don't sit on their shoulders like, why aren't you talking to me? Why aren't you contacting me? Don't press them. Sit back and go, hey, they have their own system, their own routine. They have their priorities, so leave them alone. They had the good graces to honor you with a role. That was a blessing. They didn't owe it to me. They gave it to me, and I did the best job I possibly could. So just leave them alone. The point is, with all of this jibber-jabber, is think about what the priorities are, not just for yourself, but as like a recovering narcissist, think about the other person's priorities. Try to put yourself in their shoes. Now, why the hell would you want to put yourself in other people's shoes? That's an expression. You know what it means. Think about what they might be going through. And have compassion. And be patient. Work on patience. That's something I'm working on all the time. Patience. So, it's good to talk to you, whoever you are. And I hope you have a fantastic day. It's a beautiful new Bronx day. It's going to be 70 degrees today. Yeah. Time to get out in the park and walk. Maybe jog. Have to catch up on my exercise program. You take it easy, guys and gals. Talk to you later.